We're going to move on to Jeffrey. You spotted, speaking of color, you spotted a lot of pop of color as accent. That was exciting. We're going to see where that was implemented. Swivel, that will be interesting. You saw some.
Who doesn't like the swivel?
And small scale, how a lot of pieces were being reinterpreted for smaller spaces, which is obviously an important trend.
I think that's a big trend.
Economy and
with
how
the
people are
economy, what's
building.
going on right now.
Yes.
People are moving to smaller places. I think you see it in a lot of the shelter magazines, the mix of smaller scale things.
So,
people don't need to live with the shabby chic, huge things anymore.
So apropos that the market is answering that with pieces. So let's go to the videotape and see Jeffrey's picks.
Here at Market, I've seen a lot of jolts of color. I love that luxurious jolt of color. Here you see the great shocking pink, the luxurious pink, mixed with that Belgium rusticity, and it takes it away from that neutral force. So this is a Lyon classic French chair, and I love this Belgian finish. It looks great, but this is a pop of high fashion. There's so many ways to use them and so many different finishes to use them in. This rugged, strong texture is so great, a focal point to any room. But look at this, a pop of color. I'm in love with these Greek-inspired Jeeves tables. You usually see them in iron, but this time they've used this fun color to add a little twist to them. They're great. They collapse, take them with you. They're very young, they're very happy. I'd use them almost anywhere. I'm seeing a trend in smaller scale items. Everything across the board is becoming a little bit smaller scale. Maybe people are getting smaller, I don't know, but I love it. It's easier to mix things that are smaller scale, and I think this chair, for instance, could go in almost any room. Yes, there'll be the large pieces in the room, but I think that's mainly antiques, dining room tables, things, but I don't think necessarily we need this overall big monstrosity pieces like we had in the 90s. I think people are wanting a small jewel that they can actually love and keep and move around, and people are living in smaller spaces now. I love these tables. I mean, you could take this, put it here, and move things around. And it doesn't take up that much room. I think that's really important. I'm seeing a big trend at Market with a swivel. I think a swivel is a great thing with people living in smaller spaces these days. You need to sort of multi-purpose your furniture. I would use this at the end of a bed, and perhaps you want to watch TV the other way, so you could swivel it, or it would be amazing in a sitting room, a living room. You can move them around, they're light. I think that's a lot of where furniture is going, multi-purpose, and these swivel chairs are a great find. I'm even seeing the trend with swivels with outdoor furniture. How great is this? You never really want your outdoor furniture in one spot, so the trend with swivel and outdoor furniture is genius. It's all about the swivel. I've walked around the Market, and this is my favorite chair.
Let's quickly talk about color. Obviously, we saw, and you'll see a lot of that pop of intense color. But what I found very inspiring is how it was paired. So I saw a lot of pink, by the way. Didn't you see a lot of pink?
A lot of pink, a lot of
that
turquoise.
Almost carnation-y pink. It was very, it wasn't feminine, soft pink, but it wasn't overkill. It was like just the right amount.
And it was in small amounts. I think that's very important to sort of balance color too. Love your color, it's very intense. But sometimes if you shy away from that, which I do a little bit, I like to sort of use jolts and different punctuations of the room. So I saw a lot of that. That was really fun, really things that you could really personality with the color.
And those great end tables, which you say are young and happy, which I think is, we all want pieces that make us feel happy. And I think those little tables and the little ones where the tray came off, and I could
How
just
great
see
is
you in
that?
your whole apartment. Like
There's
there
20
it all
different
was on
places
that.
you could use
Yes.
those, which is, I really think that's what I saw a lot of trend is, really, multitasking with furniture.
And we talked a little bit about the whole smaller scale living. We probably won't see, happily, these McMansions go up anymore. So how great that the market is, answering to that and coming out with pieces that have tons of personality. And if not more, it's hard to find a really humongous sofa that actually is charismatic, and somehow packing in personality in a small
But you get
scale
more
looks
seating,
better.
too.
You never what?
You get more seating and more.
Oh, yeah.
You get more out of a room, and in so many different kind of questionnaires and things, people ask like, give me like 3 top 10, 3 tips or
Right.
or most common mistakes. And one of the things I always say is scale. I think people get scale wrong, and it's hard. It's a really difficult thing to kind of figure out. And I think part of the problem is we've seen so many, I call them airport-sized sofas. It's like, why is this, like you walk into a room and there's a sofa. That's
Right,
it. It's
and
like
that's
they're
all you
taking up
see.
the
And
They're
whole
so
room.
hard to
It's
mix with antiques.
it's-
Don't you find? I mean, you've got this ginormous sofa.
gigantic
Yeah.
sofa
That
and,
big
and
black
2
yeah.
humongous chairs. And it's like,
Uh-huh.
oh my God, there's nothing room for anything else in this whole room. And then you take that out, and then you can start seeing, if you bring in some smaller scale, that you can get a seating area in front of the fireplace, and then maybe a whole other seating area in another part of the room, and it makes the room come alive a bit more.